Hey guys, it is a new year. It's 2021 and I haven't gotten to talk to you since last year. So I wonder if you had a good Christmas. I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope you had a good New Year's. Maybe you got to stay up late, do some fireworks. Maybe you got to stay up late and watch the ball drop in New York. But whatever you did for Christmas and New Year's, I hope it was good. I hope that you are looking forward to 2021 and hopefully it being a different kind of year, because it's been a year of a lot of change. I was just thinking about that. You know, adults a lot of times talk about what a strange and different year it was for older people, for adults, but for you guys, for kids, it was a different year. You guys did school in a completely different way. You played sports in completely different ways. Spending time with your friends looked completely different. This entire year was completely different. And I don't know how you're feeling about 2021. I don't know if you're excited. I don't know if you're scared. I don't know if you're worried. I don't know if you are confused like I am. There's a whole lot that is ahead of us. And so I wanted to tell you a story from the Gospel of John. It's actually what I'm fixing to preach on here in just a little while. But in the Gospel of John, at the very end of the book, in John chapter 17, if you know the story of Jesus' life, you know at the end of his life, he is crucified for us, he is buried, he raises from the dead, and at the very end, he ascends back into heaven. He goes back up into heaven. But before that happens, Jesus has this sort of one last night with his disciples, with his friends, with his followers. And so he teaches them a lot, right? He's fixing to go away and he's teaching them all of these things, reminding them of all of these things. And one of the very last things he does before he goes away from them is he prays for them. You can actually read this in John chapter 17, but he prays for them. And in his prayer, he does something that I think is really encouraging, is really comforting. He prays that God would protect them. He prays that God would watch over them, that he would take care of them, and that he would protect them. And he not only prays for his disciples, and this is where it's really important. He doesn't just pray for his disciples who lived 2,000 years ago with him. He prays for us. He prays for everyone who would follow Jesus later on. So that means if you follow Jesus, he prays for you and me. Now, I wonder, do you think that God hears Jesus' prayers? I hope you would answer yes to that question. Jesus is God's son. So yeah, of course, God hears Jesus' prayers. So we can have every confidence that when Jesus prays, that God would protect us, that he would take care of us, that he would watch over us, that God will hear and answer his prayer. So I don't know what school looks like for you, going back to school after Christmas break. It may be exactly like you hoped it would be. It might be different. But here's what I know, that Jesus has prayed for you and me. And it's so important. You think about at the very end of the school year, right? You usually take the SATs or the ACTs or some sort of test, right? All the really important stuff happens at the end of the year. The last thing that you do tends to be the most important. And so Jesus prays for us as one of the last things that he does in his life. It was that important to him. It's almost like, if you watch football, right? This last weekend, Alabama and Auburn both played. It was a big weekend for football, right? And you get down to the end of the game and it's crunch time. It's the most important time, right? That's when you call your most important plays. And as Jesus is at the very end of his life, what does he do? He gathers up all of his friends, his followers, and he prays for them that God would protect them, and he prays for us that God would protect us. So if you are following Jesus, you can have this assurance that God is going to take care of you. He's going to watch over you, that Jesus has prayed that God would do that, and God always hears Jesus' prayers and answers them. I hope that is encouraging to you. It's really comforting to me. And I hope you have a great day today. God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon.